you know, we cannot necessarily call her response brutal because the government have been treating us brutally. And so the way she responded to it is equal to the way we're being treated. So we cannot necessarily invalidate the way she's feeling. And now also we've had Taufik speak on the fact that the way they have responded to this girl's grievance is selective enforcement. Because, for instance, I saw a tweet online saying that when terrorists and some Yao people come outside, they don't know how to find them. They turn a blind eye. But a simple call member came out and was expressing her grievances, and immediately they found her number and they're calling her. But when we see terrorists coming out and displaying all sorts of things, putting out their wealth, their weapon, the government does not know what to do. But now regular citizens come outside and they're, you know, just all over the place sending threats. So now the question now based on that is that, can we say that this is the administration is necessarily, they're trying to dissent the voices of the people, and they're in some sense, like I said earlier, turning this democracy into militarization. It's more of an authoritarian form of leadership. They don't want to hear us. And so because of this, what the girl has done is actually equal to the way we're being treated. Do you agree with that position? Well, not so completely. And I'll say this way. It's a pity that it seems as though I'm speaking as though holding brief for the government. I mean, unfortunately not, because we're all facing the impact of the wrong implementation of good policies. I call them good policies, but badly implemented generally. But first of all, we cannot attribute the attitude of an LGI, local government inspector of NYSC, to the administration of the president. You cannot. The secretariat responded, they are all civil servants. Everybody in NYSC except the DG. It's probably an appointment. Everybody in NYSC are civil servants. So the question we should look at is this. Why are we suffering and smiling? The woman that called her, I attempted to call her myself actually, you know, but the woman that called her is a civil servant. But because they are being overzealous. Can I tell you something? The Tinubu that we know, I mean, I don't know him in person, just to clear that, but I believe that the kind of personality Tinubu embodies, if you think that lady is going to sit down with her, I understand what the plight is, not to condescend on her, number one. But that should not make us to forget what I would not have done if I were in her shoe. I've once been in her shoes. Time will not permit me to talk about my experience serving in Kano in the days of Boko Haram. I now means two bomb blasts, one straight bullet in Kano. DSS was sent after me without committing the crime. Yet we didn't bring the roof down. We will not look at Kano and say, this is a terrible city. Never. I would never say that. And it was never a terrible city. But look at a young lady saying, Lagos is dirty. Excuse me, that is some people's ancestral land. That's some people's hometown. You cannot just come online and say, oh, the city is dirty. No, those are wrong statements to use. Yes, there are issues on ground. I'm an environmentalist, by the way, so I should be excited. Somebody advocating for cleanliness and all that. But you can't put a wrong message and expect good results. You can't be punching somebody a blow and you expect them to argue. You understand? So I feel that there is a way to pass the message. The message for me is okay. And by the way, in terms of giving brutal response, my dear, the brutal response to give to somebody you have elected to be in power is by your vote next time. It's not by, yes, the government has been performing not so well. We are all facing the impact. And really, and by the way, when you talk about militarization, I don't agree with it. Okay. Please, I'm not, it's really funny. I'm not holding brief for the government. I wish you can look at the flip side of these things so I can talk about the areas of where the government is missing it. The government is missing it big time. No way to talk about it, to hide about that. I'm not sure CBN is out understand the theory of what they are doing. No theory explain Nigeria economy as we speak. You can't use any theory of economy to explain what we are facing in Nigeria, because almost all the right policies we know as economists has been put into force, but we're getting results opposite to what we're supposed to get. So I'm not holding brief for the government. But you can't talk about militarization. I've not heard that the military have arrested her. I've not heard that she's been arrested or what have you. But thanks to people like Showore. Citizens that every time they come out to speak, they get arrested. I mean, look at what happened during the NSAS time. Terrible. Terrible. No story about that. Terrible. They brutalize people when they come out, and they have a right to freedom of speech. That's something we don't see in the military era. 1,000 times terrible. I'm only saying, let's look at this thing. Let's be very objective on this particular case. Do you understand? A lady should not come. And when we look at the social side of these things, we're only looking at the government side. You know, when we look at the social side of these things, there are lessons also for the lady. Do you understand? You don't start growing from the tree.
Excuse me, there's no award for the person that suffers most in the world. Poverty is not a gold medal.